Welcome back to the PGT PLO Series. It is time for another stacked final table coming at you from the PokerGo studio on the Las Vegas Strip. It is a beautiful, sunny October day in Las Vegas, and it's the perfect time for some Pot-Limit Omaha. The buy-in is $15,000. My name is Remco Rinkema. Donnie Peters alongside me, as always, to call the action here, as we will have 7 giants of the game showing us how it is done. Artur Martirosyan from Russia leads the way with 2 million chips. Sean Rafael is the short stack, and it is a who's who of the high-stakes scene here at this final table. There's a lot to play for. You see the beautiful trophy on your screen, along with $40K for 7th and $290,000 up top for the winner. No envelopes, no sweats of that sort. That's what we had yesterday, which was a lot of fun. If you missed that final table, please go and check it out. But today, we're just straight up playing a PLO tournament for the big bucks with the big boys, if you will. As I said, Martirosyan in the lead with 40 bigs. But Donnie, looking at the structure, where we are at, and looking at the live reporting from last night, this was one heck of a grind to get down to the final 7.
Yeah, I hope everyone out there is comfortable, because we're going to be here for a little while, I would imagine. There's a lot to play for still. The big bucks are, of course, on the line. And these players, all 7 of them, are not going to give a single inch to an opponent. So, you know, get comfortable, like I said, because we're going to be here for a bit.
Martirosyan, Crusher, both live and online. On my radar, he definitely became a star, I want to say, during the pandemic, when he crushed everything online. Of course, he has a long resume in the game of poker, has a history as well here at the studio. Good to see him out here for this PLO series. Sean Rafael, speaking of online, Donnie, this guy goes way back.
Yeah, what was it, Doorbread?
Yes, sir.
And then there was another name that he went by as well that's escaping me at this time. But a legend for many, many years. But, you know, I'll say, what, a decade ago, 15 years ago, something like that. Regular on the 2+2 forums. You know, had a lot of legendary status that came along with him. But then got away from the game for quite some time. But last year started to get back into things, wanted to get back into high-stakes PLO. I believe he, you know, started to get some coaching just so he could kind of get back up with the modern game. And here he is. He's been a fixture every time we run a PLO event here at the PokerGo studio, and he's out there battling with the best.
Definitely a lineup with players that are feared whenever they sit down at your table, no matter what stakes you are playing. Isaac Haxton, perhaps the most feared of all.
Thank you.
Sitting right next to his good friend Ben Tollerene. Donnie, Tollerene only shows up when he feels like winning a poker tournament.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like every time he walks into the studio, you can almost just pencil him in for the final table. It's unbelievable how well this guy plays, you know, how successful he is. And it's like it's almost like the higher the buy-ins, the more success he has, right? So it's like, okay, maybe if he's playing a 5K or a 10K, maybe it's just a min cash. You know, 15Ks, 25Ks, okay, for sure, final table. 100K, he'll probably just win. You know, that's just how it goes for Tollerene.
Definitely a legend of the game, as we see Haxton pick up aces with spades. Tollerene tosses the king, queen, jack, 9 into the muck. And aces and queens for Karakitukov.
10 seconds.
This is a different level of aces. He does have diamonds to go along with it.
575 total.
And he goes 575. This gives Haxton a chance to go all in. Haxton's aces, of course, not the best aces, but they're still aces.
Yeah, he does have a suit in there. He is suited to the ace in spades, so I would imagine these guys just get the money in here. There it is.
All in and outs from Haxton. A snap call will follow. Karakitukov makes the call, and we have 2.7 million chips in the middle on hand number 2. Whoever wins this will be our new chip leader. And if Karakitukov wins, he'll have around 3.2 million. Lots of ways to chop this thing, as you can see by the equities on your screen.
I saw it was black, so wasn't a lot of cards it could be.
It's basically diamonds versus spades with some variety of Broadway draws here. And it comes 8-8-4. Very likely to be a chop now. 7 of spades on the turn. Karakitukov on a free roll. A queen here could still win it for him. It sends a jack on the river, and they will chop this up. Donnie, a chop and PLO, what's happening?
Chop and PLO, baby. Everyone loves a chop pot, as they say.
Full 30 seconds.
Sometimes.
Queen there.
Thank you.
Karakitukov, along with Bryce
didn't look
Yockey,
like
already
an
won
ace,
an
to be
event
fair,
here
but
at the
I kinda
PGT
knew
PLO
a lot
Series,
of them.
and both of them do have
me.
the opportunity to overtake Sean Winter atop the series leaderboard. They would both. They would need to win. Can't do it any other way. They have to win. They have to come in first place, and they would move ahead of Sean Winter. For Ben Tollerene, he was inside the top 40 of the season-long leaderboard and the top 40 qualifiers for the PGT Championship at the end of the season. He was in there for quite a bit of the year, but he has since fallen outside the top 40. He's 10, 15 places outside. A decent finish here will get him back into the top 40.
175.
So that's something that Tollerene's probably got on his mind.
Martirosyan now raising it up. He's got ace-jack 10-3. By the way, welcome to everyone in the chat, both on PokerGo and on our YouTube channel. Thanks for tuning in. It's PLO week over at PokerGo. We have today's final table. Tomorrow, 25K championship final table of this PGT PLO series. Then Sunday, a day to recover or a day to play the satellite into the 100K Super High Rollable PLO. And that event kicks off on Monday. 3 days of live action on our channels with commentary by Ali Najat and Alex Livingston. So if you're a 4-card fan, you might as well subscribe to the channel, turn on the notifications to not miss any of the action, because when the buy-ins are this big, you are guaranteed to watch a stacked lineup. And there is a lot to learn from the way these guys play.
600,000.
And Tollerene with kings comes over the top for pot, putting 600,000 in the middle.
Yeah, kings with a suit here for Tollerene. He's probably well aware of the fact that Martirosyan is probably getting a little bit out there with his aggressiveness, being the chip leader. Also just knowing Martirosyan's tendencies. Once he has that chip lead and he is able to use it, he's certainly going to do so. So nice spot to attack there for Tollerene. Gets it done.
Ben Tollerene, 32.1 million in career tournament earnings from Fort Worth, Texas. His 2 biggest results are runner-up finishes in his career. $3.5 million in the 2024 250K Super High Roller of the WSOP, and a runner-up in the 100K PLO Super High Roller at the 2024 Paradise WSOP. Fun to note here, this is Ben Tollerene's 100th cash in his live poker career. So Donnie, 32 million, 100 cashes. That is a nice clip.
I mean, that's just incredible. He's one of the best to ever do it, that's for sure.
I mean, we're dealing with several Hall of Famers. I think Haxton and Tollerene are no-brainers. A guy like Martirosyan is quickly building on his resume. Martirosyan is only, Donnie, he's only 27. He is not part of the moneymaker boom kids, of which Haxton and Tollerene are a product. Martirosyan a fair bit younger, I would say by about a decade. He already has 28.8 million in career earnings.
Yeah, it's pretty wild how young he is comparative to all the players that he battles with on a regular basis, and oftentimes gets the better of on a regular basis. But shorter time period in the game for Martirosyan, but it has not stopped him from becoming one of the absolute best in the world.
Yeah, Martirosyan first on Russia's all-time money list with a basically a $10 million gap between him and second place. Igor Kurganov is in second, who has not really played on the highest level in probably almost 10 years. He's been busy with other ventures. Some other names in the top 10 there: Anatoly Filatov, Timofey Kuznetsov, and Vladimir Troyanovsky. So Martirosyan well out in front compared to those players, and in my mind, one of the best right now. Let us know in the chat who you're rooting for. And nothing in the chat says, yet he looks older than Haxton. Martirosyan has a very sort of, I don't know, he has a certain look about him that makes him look maybe a bit stern at times. But he's got youth on his side. Rafael here, king, queen, 10-10 with spades. As we saw yesterday, Donnie, PLO, especially when you're shorter on chips like Rafael, not the type of game where pre-flop creativity is recommended. So many hands to defend with, so many hands where you still have equity. Even right now, you think, oh, Rafael's hand is so strong looking. Meanwhile, Haxton, who has literally 7 deuce as part of his hand, has 35%.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why, like you see Rafael here coming in for a pot-sized raise, because of the equity that your opponent can often have in PLO, especially when they're already committed from the big blind like Haxton is. They're going to be able to peel with a wide variety, just knowing that they're never like, you're never like 80, or sorry, you're never 20% to 80%.
Oh
right?
my God.
I mean, he's just got all of it.
Haxton absolutely destroys this flop. Flops a set, has an ace to go along with it, and Rafael only has about half pot remaining, and that goes in the middle. Haxton with the snap call. Sean Rafael, 14% equity. He is on his way out the door unless he finds a way to escape. As it stands, he's looking for a 10, and there's only one of those remaining. He also can find running Broadway or running spades, but Sean Rafael in dire straits right now. He could be our first casualty on hand number 5 of this final table.
It's not looking good.
Yeah, not much he can do there. King on the turn. Now looking for a jack or a 10. Broadway opportunity created for Rafael. We can see there's only 2 of those remaining in the deck. Lots of card removal in PLO. And it goes running kings, and that does nothing for Sean Rafael. He's our 7th place finisher, collecting $40,000. And Isaac Haxton will take this one down, and he is up to $1.7 million. And we are 6-handed. The remaining 6 guaranteed $53,000.
Nice little ladder when you're Matthew Wantman over there, working with 380K. Able to get that pay jump.
A look here at the current standings. Haxton, Karakitukov, and Martirosyan are basically tied at the top. And all eyes now on Matthew Wantman for the next pay ladder. The 25K is underway now as well. You can follow live reporting on PGT.com. It's a very stacked field. One of those fields where I sort of quiver when I walk between the tables to even, like, picture playing against these guys. We have all the big names present. Jason Mercer among them. Made the trip especially for this series. I am disappointed, Donnie, that Frederic Normand is not at this final table.
He's taking an event off,
10 seconds.
Check. Heads up.
A limp and a check here. Martirosyan limping on the button.
10 seconds.
75,000.
He's going to bet 75,000. Definitely lots of room to play a more small ball approach here, especially the way the stack sizes are situated with Wantman on 7 bigs. Martirosyan doesn't want to get a repot in his face. Instead, now they're playing a smaller pot. He bet 75K, and Tollerene makes the call with top 2.
Check.
3 clubs on the turn. Tollerene pairs another card. Doesn't have much relevance, even though it adds a flush draw. Martirosyan drawing to a straight 2 ways. Double gut shot here.
Check.
Action gets checked. Deuce of clubs completes a potential backdoor flush draw. Could see this go check here. Not much that Tollerene can bet here to extract value from my perspective. And bluffing for Martirosyan also doesn't feel like it has the right board development.
10 seconds.
Check. Check down.
Action does get checked. Tollerene tables King 10.
These 2 pair.
He's got to take it down. All right, you know what that music means. That means we have something cool to tell you, because you can turn rags into riches, but this is your last chance to win your way into the True Classic Rags to Riches event. We're giving away 15 5K packages. The deadline to submit your reason why is October 27th. That is 3 days from now if you're watching us live. All you have to do is share your poker story for a chance to win. Yes, it is that simple. Enter now at trueclassictees.com/tcpokergo, and we might see you here at the studio in December. Share your poker story. If you're in the chat right now, give me a little taste of your poker story. It could be a bad beat story. It could be an epic win story. It could be an all-nighter. It could be, you know, your rags to riches. Who knows? Donnie, if I put you on the spot right now, tell me your poker story. What comes to mind?
Back in, I don't even remember the year, but when poker blogs were a thing, you know, people had their various poker blogs. I remember Blogspot was like the hosting site a lot. I used to read a lot of poker blogs. You know, I said, you know what? I think I can do this, right? I started a little poker blog. I was writing a little bit here and there. I was playing on Full Tilt at the time. I preferred the Full Tilt software over the PokerStars software, so that's what I would frequent. And just some of the games that I played, you see a lot of the same names. And back then, they still had the chats. Like, you could still chat. And a lot of rooms these days, you can't chat anymore online. So, you know, you got to know some people, whatever. I got to talking with one guy. Next thing you know, he's like, oh, let me check out your poker blog. He checks it out. He says, oh, you seem like you write pretty well. You can convey your thoughts on the game. Let me shoot a note over to the guy who I know is building the team for Poker News for that summer. I get put in touch with John Caldwell at the time, end up landing an interview, which is done with who's now one of my best friends, Gary Gates. Next thing you know, on a plane a couple weeks later, heading to New Orleans to cover the WSOP circuit event, and now I guess I'm just a lifer in the game. So that's my story.
Yeah.
And what I would say along those lines, in relation to this True Classic Rags to Riches giveaway, is that I'm very much a professional poker industry person. I don't get to play a lot. I play a fair bit, but I don't get to play a lot. So if you were to pick me, which I'm ineligible to qualify, but if you were to pick me, I would like to play.
Right.
You know, I'm a grinder. I love the game. I put in my time on the working side of things. I don't get to play often. So can you just give me this shot? So that would be my story. That's something that I would try and write in to True Classic to hopefully win one of those 15 packages.
I like it. You and I, of course, have we've walked similar roads, but our paths were a little different. But that was also the first thing that came to my mind. The way that I went from a poker fan with a limited bankroll to all of a sudden being at EPT Prague back in 2008 to do live reporting. Brought my 17-inch Acer laptop where if you bump the table a little bit, it'll just stop working completely. Shout out to the Hilton in Prague. I spent so much time at that hotel because back then, I think there was 2 or 3 events a year at that venue. The nice atrium, the overpriced club sandwiches. I have very fond memories of Prague. Meanwhile, poker's being played. Tollerene and Haxton have arrived on the turn. 480 in the middle. To recap here, Haxton limped in. Tollerene checked his option, and Karakitukov checked from the big blind. It got checked to Haxton on the flop. He bet 50K. Check raise from Tollerene to 140. Karakitukov folded, and Haxton made the call. And now we are here on the turn with Tollerene having the check mark with King 5. He's got the boat,
240.
and he bets 240. Looks like Haxton perhaps coming up with a plan at the wrong time, but at the very least he's considering something here.
Yeah, I would guess just considering if he feels like he can continue. You know, is my opponent filled up here already? Is there any sort of chance that my 6s could be good here?
Call. One side extension.
Haxton makes the call. Donnie, this to me is rather surprising. We now got 960 in the middle as the 9 of diamonds completes the board.
Yeah, I mean, it is surprising to me, but Ike probably just feels like he's got a pretty good price. I think it was half pot from Tollerene on the turn. I wouldn't think that you would want to have 6s in your hand specifically, because I think maybe you want Tollerene to be getting a little bit over aggressive with some sort of like 6-4 combo, you know, that turns a straight draw, but I could be wrong there. I mean, I'm not necessarily one to question Ike's play, but he's got a big decision on his hands right here.
$460.
$460 from Tollerene on the river, and Haxton does let it go. I'm guessing it was between 2 things. It was either hoping to get the showdown because he assumes that Tollerene is going to have a lot of bluffs there, or perhaps giving himself a chance to bluff if Tollerene gives up on the river.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's probably just trying to get to a showdown, just get a check back out of Tollerene there on the end, and then once Tollerene comes with a bet, I mean, yes, Tollerene can be bluffing, but he probably just reads that into, okay, I guess he has it here more often than not, so it's just time for me to put this one in the muck and move on. With that hand, Tollerene has the chip lead now, so, you know, we kind of opened up talking about how successful he is in these tournaments, and here he is at another one, quickly surging to the top of the leaderboard.
Bryce Yockey, haven't had to utter his name much. Looks down at King 10, 9, 7 double suited.
175.
Yockey, the winner of event number 6 here, 10K PLO at the PGT PLO Series, took home $237,000 for that one, and we got aces again for our guy, Karakitukov. This is, I mean, double suited, ace, ace, king, queen. Is this like the best hand you can have?
I mean, he's 1 card off from having the exact same hand he just had. I just want to say, Donnie, I know you're not a Dragon Ball Z guy, but when I see Karakitukov, I think Kakarot, which of course is the Saiyan name of Goku, and I could not detach him from that. So in my mind, he is Super Saiyan Karakitukov. Shout out to those in the chat who are Dragon Ball fans from back in the day. The 3-bet here with the ace, ace, king, queen double suited. Holy moly. It almost feels unfair getting dealt a hand like that as Yockey asks for more time.
Yeah, Yockey might elect to just peel here, try and see a flop. I know he is on the shorter side, but try and connect with something. Don't need to just put in all your chips right now. You do often see in PLO that when situations like this happen, the player in Yockey's shoes will elect to just call, kind of in a way like see like a safe flop. Like if it comes like, I don't know, deuce, deuce, deuce or something, then you can just get away from it maybe and move on and try and double up then. But if he connects in any way, shape, or form here, I would expect his remaining 140K is just going to go in.
Yockey, a crusher here at the studio, won 2 PGT PLO events earlier this year and one in 2023 as well. It comes Jack 8-10 with 2 diamonds.
How about that?
I mean, incredible flop for the money to go in here.
Okay, then.
And 17 outs for Karakitukov and Haxton with the
I thought
wow.
it was a good flop for me, but
Hey, Yockey's like, well, I flopped a straight.
It was.
I mean,
So
kind of.
Karakitukov is 62%, even though he's up against a flop straight. That is just,
PLO is great.
it's just, this game is silly. 1.5 in the middle. Yockey's tournament life on the line. He has to fade a ton of cards. The 8 pairs on the turn.
Well, now he's got more outs.
More outs.
Now he can hit a full house.
Oh my God. Coin flip. A straight versus a pair. Pot-Limit Omaha. What a disgusting game. Yockey's
Three
tournament
spades.
life on the line. It's a 5 of clubs, and he manages to survive. That is a.
How do you miss?
I mean, that's just.
How do you
great.
miss?
That is just great.
140.
Oh, I love it. PLO at its finest right there. I mean, that's one of those ones like, oh, you know, somebody asks you, well, what's PLO like? Well,
Yeah.
let me just show you this hand, okay? I started with ace, ace, king, queen, double suited.
I had 62% against a straight, even though I only
Yeah.
had a pair. Directing my attention to the chat real quick here, Daniel says, started playing poker at a buddy's house, game while almost broke, was laid off from the job, made money one night, lost the next, super competitive, so I studied, bought a $150 sat, I think, and 1/5 for $13,000. And he said, this kept me afloat till I found another job. Now I'm just getting caught up on bills 2 years later and just promoted to a new company, plan to play and place in a big tournament. Daniel, submit your story.
Yeah, send that in. Just copy, paste, put it in there, let's go.
Yes.
That was absurd.
Those are the types of stories
Flop.
that the True Classic team wants to hear, and they want to help people achieve their poker dreams.
Mark T says, weird to hear the announcers talk about Ben when I went to high school and played soccer with him growing up.
What?
Mark, if you
What?
if you won Ben Tollerene's lunch money in a poker game at high school, you need to submit that story. That is phenomenal stuff. Also, full disclosure, Donnie and I have nothing to do with who gets picked. We are just excited to promote that event. We might do some commentary on it, though. Scott says, love this game. Get it in real bad and hold against the world. I mean, at least Yockey flopped the straight. He thought he was way ahead, but he actually had a lot to fade.
10 seconds.
Matthew Wantman now sort of on an island.
3 players.
He made the call for 25K, which is quite a large portion of his chips, funnily enough. We see Jack 3, and Martirosyan's 9s are best here somehow.
Check. $50,000.
Yockey instead is trying to get coy here. He's got the ace of diamonds, so using that to his advantage, knowing that there's no other nut draws out there. All right, so still six-handed here. Matthew Wantman in a bit of trouble. If you want to get playing yourself right now, you can do so on Global Poker. Use bonus code PGT PLO 30 when depositing $30 to get 150 GC and 130 SC coins, along with a free Eagle Cup ticket. This offer ends on October 31st at midnight. All you have to remember is promo code PGT PLO 30 when you deposit $30, and you can get a nice bit of extra bonus money to play with.
About 175. Cool. That's up.
Got a flopped flush here for Haxton. King high. Martirosyan with kings.
Check. Check.
Martirosyan's kings look very small facing a board like this, and Haxton has to know that extracting value in this situation is rather rare. You're of course hoping to be up against a smaller flush. There's a small chance you're up against a bigger flush, and it'll be hard to get action from anything other than perhaps a set that is still drawing live. And I understand Haxton going small just because of that.
Yeah, Haxton's going to go small there after checking the flop. He also has a jack and a 9 in his hand, which blocks some pair, two pair set combos for your opponent. So in that specific situation, it does feel like it'll be very hard for Martirosyan to have anything to come along with. But at some point, when you flop a flush, you know, you can't just check. You got to start building a pot.
Yep.
So even if it does involve small betting, but, you know, unfortunately for Haxton there, Martirosyan just unwilling to come along with naked kings.
Once again, welcome to the show. If you're just tuning in on this lovely Friday in October, you're watching some high-stakes PLO tournament action. We're only 11 hands in. We're playing down to a winner, so sit back, relax, enjoy the show. And please know that tomorrow we have more high-stakes PLO action. 25K final table still to come, and the 100K Super High Rollerball PLO starting on Monday. Mark T says, following up on whether or not he won any lunch money from Ben Tollerene back in high school, he said, "I never won anything off Ben. He was dominating online poker games in college, is all I remember when we would hang out." Well, it sounds like you had your chance to learn from the best, Mark. Come on. Why aren't you here with us?
10 seconds.
I'm kidding. I appreciate you watching, Mark. Hope you submit your story to Rags to Riches, and maybe we'll see you here in December. Wantman committing raise makes it 175 with just 55K back, and Haxton in the big blind, despite there being no bounties on the line. He does make the call with the speculative 10-8-6 deuce. Wantman with a very strong hand given his stack size. King, queen, queen, jack, and he absolutely mashes this flop. Top set and a flush draw. Haxton betting
All in.
in hopes of Wantman having a complete whiff.
Top set and a flush draw.
Another buds. Another
I mean,
buzzsaw.
Haxton probably thinking, you know, he's got enough here to go with, of course, against the very, very short stack of Wantman. He's got a pair of sixes, which, you know, isn't the worst. Because if Wantman's got like 2 aces and doesn't have any other connectivity, well, you could maybe connect with a deuce or an 8, hit some sort of weird 2-pair to win the hand. He's also double-gutted, so that's working for him. It just so happens that Wantman has absolutely crushed this one. But look at that.
Jack of clubs on the turn, and now Haxton makes a straight.
I thought you only had a 7.
Wantman now with a
Like
boatload of outs, but he does need to hit. Otherwise, he's gone, just like that. Miracle turn card for Haxton.
Oh, brutal.
And the river is the 5 of spades, and the miracle on the turn is going to do it for Wantman, who exits in 5th place.
2 hands remain in the level.
Wantman collecting $53,000 for his 5th place finish. Haxton now up to 1.8 million, and we have a lot of play left here between these final 5 who are playing for 290,000 up top.
Can we squeeze?
Third cash of the series for Matthew Wantman, a former PGT PLO
Alright, move here.
Series champion.
Fine with me, yeah.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Can we just pull the chair out?
It's okay now.
I would rather be here, to be honest, if you don't mind. Not that I think there's anything happening, it's just harder to see the cards, just in case. What's up? Good to go? Mm-hmm. Thank you.
A look at the updated standings here. Karakitukov, the short stack with 20 big blinds.
Thanks.
Robert asking if we're live. Yes, we are, live on delay. If you come to the PokerGo studio right now, you can watch your heroes play. The main room is currently occupied with the 25K, using our streaming room for this event. Going back to the chat here, Ryan says, I was at a gas station in Las Vegas next to M Resort, M Casino, and when I walked out, Alan Kessler was trying to open my car door, and it was hilarious, and he got embarrassed, and I got to meet him. So Alan Kessler was trying to steal your car? That's quite a cool story. I know Alan Kessler's cheap, but that is
I've heard of him, you know, stealing coke, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But a car?
soda thief.
A car, Alan? Come on, man.
Players.
Three-way action here. Ace, queen, 7.
Check. Check.
Variety of straight outs for Yockey here, as Haxton pairs his queen. $60K from Yockey, and that should get this done. Lots of small stabs, getting it done. The players are acting fast, which is nice to see. And what I really think is cool about this level of play, which I don't hold a candle to how these guys play PLO, is that I can make the right decision barely seeing the cards. They're making the right decision without seeing the cards. It's just really impressive, and it always teaches me a lot about how to approach hands in Pot-Limit Omaha, which of course is a game that we don't see and we don't spread nearly as often as the no-limit variety. Another beauty for Haxton here. I wonder if he's going to limp again, or if this is simply more related to hand strength versus wanting to just limp a lot in general. And he does limp. Makes me feel smart.
Oh. 10 seconds.
Check. 3 players.
Three players here as Haxton extended the invitation, and both players complied in the blinds. And Haxton is casually flopping top set and a whole bunch more.
Seconds.
50. 50,000.
$50K from Haxton. Of course, with tons of confidence in his hand strength. Wouldn't mind players coming along, drawing slim in this case.
I normally only take 2, but I'm playing you guys today, so I have 20.
Six of spades now giving Tollerene some actual outs. And look at Haxton not wanting to run into the 7-8 possibility, and instead he gives Tollerene a way to improve, and improve he does. Tollerene now makes the nuts, and Donnie, as you always say, you got to do your own betting.
Yeah, I mean, Haxton has showed very slight interest in this hand. You know, limped, small bet, check back turn. So I think you can just come out betting here. I think with this sort of card, you know, there's a chance that your opponent makes an inferior straight like Haxton did here.
300,000.
And Tollerene goes for pot, making it more polarizing, and he gets paid. Spades shown here, and Haxton will see the bad news.
Lines are at 30, 66.
Blinds up now. 30K, 60K.
Thank you, Chris.
Still tons of play left. Tollerene does manage to separate himself a little bit from the pack.
Yeah, not as deep, though, as yesterday's final table
True.
was. You know, when we were four-handed yesterday specifically, they were 35, 40 bigs deep, something like that. And ended up resulting in four-handed play taking quite some time. But here, you know, these guys played quite a bit last night to get down to the final table. Stack's a little bit shallower.
Scott said in the chat, I just submitted my story to True Classic. Good luck to you, Scott. Hope you make it.
Let's go.
15 5K packages up for grabs.
Yeah, you get a $3,300 buy-in, you get a $500 flight voucher, and you're going to get a hotel.
10 seconds.
Everyone.
This is great.
Everyone enjoys limping here. And this is a spot for Yockey, Donnie, to apply some pressure and either weed some people out or play a decent-sized pot with a strong holding.
Yeah, and he's going to do just that.
10 seconds.
I mean, might we now see a domino effect where once Martirosyan calls, does Haxton call, you know?
10 seconds. Time extension.
Haxton does call. Veselin, I can't imagine is calling with his hand. He's out of there.
Now, Yockey, of course, with the betting lead. And this was exactly tying into my question. What will he do when an ace flops? And the good thing here is that he has spades. So aggression here could be the answer, Donnie.
Well, aggression isn't going to work against this hand that Martirosyan has. Martirosyan flops the ace. You know, granted, he doesn't have a kicker at this point, but Martirosyan also open-ended straight flush draw.
Yes, absolutely. But of course, action first on Yockey, who was the aggressor, and he'll bet pot. So we're going to see a huge pot here.
You know, Yockey does block.
On.
Look at that, he going for it.
Yeah, Martirosyan all in. Yockey calls it off, and we got a 60-40 here for $3.5 million.
Not spades.
Chip lead pot.
Yeah, Yockey to covering stack. And as it stands, the ace proven to be crucial here for Martirosyan if the turn and river bring blanks, but Yockey has 12 outs, of which 5 have been removed, so he's down to 7. Martirosyan does have a few outs dead here for Yockey. Turn card. Jack of clubs.
Oh my.
Martirosyan now.
Two pair for Yockey.
Jackson force for Yockey. Martirosyan now looking for 1 of 17 cards. Still drawn to a straight flush, but it is his tournament life on the line, and he lets out a deep sigh. Doesn't have much belief in the situation, but he is very much live. River to 10 of hearts. That is a blank, and Bryce Yockey goes from short stack to chip leader in the blink of an eye. And we say goodbye to our chip leader from about 20 minutes ago, Artur Martirosyan, out in 5th place. And just like that, poker continues to always give us a surprise. The Russian will collect $73,000 and quickly exits the stage and will hopefully, will for sure be in the 25K. That is getting started right now. Final 4 now guaranteed $99,000.
Nothing ever seems to be absolute when you're playing Pot-Limit Omaha, but Artur Martirosyan there getting his money in. Greater than a 60% favorite. When the money goes in, it's got a fade turn and river, but Yockey finds the rather unassuming jack on the turn to make 2 pair. in a way. I mean, you know, not that Martirosyan hasn't seen it all, of course, but a little bit shell-shocked. Like, really? Like, that's the card you're going to hit? Like, I mean, come on. It just hit, like, can't you just hit a spade or something? Like,
Yockey with the big lead now. All signs pointing towards a Yockey-Tollerene heads-up match, but we know how quickly the tables can turn.
10 seconds.
Yockey is one of the two players. It's him and Karakitukov who can overtake Sean Winter should they win today. They would overtake him on the series leaderboard.
150.
Every series that we do on the PGT, we have a dedicated series leaderboard. There is often bonus money, bonus prizes that go to the leaderboard winner. In this case, it's a $10,000 bonus going to the series leaderboard winner. Of course, we also have the season-long PGT standings, everyone trying to make it into the top 40, qualify for that $1 million championship at the end of the season. But in the immediate term, we got the series title heating up here as we get down the stretch. Current chip leader Bryce Yockey was the winner of event number 6 here at the PGT PLO Series. Took home $237,000 for that win. Veselin Karakitukov won the next event, event number 7, 15K PLO. He took home $348,000. Starting to get into that territory where we have the haves, Yockey and Tollerene, and the have-nots, Haxton and Karakitukov. As those two pairs kind of start to separate themselves from one another.
10 seconds.
Limp from Haxton, Tollerene checks his option, 10-9-4, 2 clubs.
Okay.
Seconds. At 90.
$90K from Tollerene here. He's got 9s and 4s. Haxton, not much visibility here. I mean, does have a gutter. Could connect with the queen to make a king high straight. Also has that ace of clubs in his hand. Could give him some ideas to continue on here, and then he's going to do just that. Ace on the turn. 9s and 4s still in the lead here for Tollerene, but Haxton does pick up some additional equity. Probably a card here Tollerene wants to check back. Just kind of try and play a little bit of pot control in position here, not go too crazy with a weak 2 pair. He does check back, and Haxton drills this jack on the river to take the lead.
Bet 80.
Ace jack.
Small bet of 80K and a call from Tollerene. Haxton's going to get paid there on the end.
Nice river, nice value there for Haxton. As Tollerene goes back to lunch. Hope you guys at home are all having a nice lunch as well. If you're in a lunch type time zone. I love when the music comes on. That means something exciting is about to come onto the screen.
Maybe it'll come on the
I
screen.
mean, I wasn't even sure if it was ever going to happen at this point. I was really
it still might be
I'm
maybe.
a little worried right now. Okay, here we go. Oh, it's the PlayPokerGo.com PGT $1 million championship promo. This is so simple that I don't even want to have to say it, because you create an account on PlayPokerGo.com, get the app through whatever app store you use, play one single hand of free online poker before December 10th. One single hand at a minimum. You're free to play more. And if you do so, you get entered into a raffle that might end you up in the $1 million free roll at the end of the year. So please go and check that out, PlayPokerGo.com. Back to the action here, still 30K, 60K, and Haxton, instead of limping now with a double suited ace king jack 9, makes it 165. Karakitukov on the short stack doesn't find anything playable, and we'll move on to the next hand.
This is maybe the most quiet table ever.
What's that?
What?
Most quiet final table.
Quiet? Maybe.
Yeah. You get out a few more guys that wouldn't say a word. Like add a Sean Rafael or something.
Yeah.
He's right there.
Definitely
He was the only talker.
Yeah, imagine that.
Yeah.
among the quieter tables.
So, Cabral.
Oh yeah, I'm glad that's not like that.
Nacho.
Nacho for sure. Nacho's fun at least.
10 seconds.
Ready for 210?
Tollerene now makes it 210. Karakitukov
spot.
clearly looking for a spot to do just that. He raises pot with the ace-king 3-4 double suited. Makes it 690 with 60K back, so he wants to play for stacks. Tollerene doesn't even have a suited ace. This is not the recipe for a big showdown.
See, there you go. Now you're talking.
Karakitukov back up over $1 million. Veselin has $3.8 million in career earnings, 8th on Bulgaria's all-time money list. We covered him in various events over the last couple of years, most notably winning a PGT PLO Series event, 15K buy-in. Also finished 4th in the WSP Paradise 100K PLO Super High Roller, the same event where Tollerene got 2nd. Finished 4th as well in the 50K PLO in 2022 at the WSOP. So it's safe to say that he is a specialist. Isaac Haxton has a astonishing
Bulgaria.
60
Bulgarian?
million in career earnings. One of the best to ever
No.
do it,
Like
and
Zahari
still
Kaiko.
doing it at the highest
Yeah, I
level.
know him.
Yeah, they're friends of mine.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yes. He's a nice guy.
yeah, for sure.
Oh, from where did you know him?
Zahari and I had a mutual friend named Lior. Back when Zahari was playing a lot of poker. Did you know Zahari or Kaiko or both?
I know only Zachary.
Okay, yeah. So he's a really good friend of mine now. So we like do like trading and stuff a lot these days, and like I don't know, we hang out. Hang out with his girlfriend, and his dog, and stuff. And so, yeah. They started a YouTube channel for their dog.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they tried to like
I
promote
didn't know that.
Yeah.
We didn't spoke with for a
Haxton
long
versus
time.
Tollerene, who probably have tens of thousands of hands logged versus each other, both live and online.
Yeah, I'll tell him you're
Queen
over
deuce
here.
3 with clubs, neither
Sure.
player with the flush draw.
But I heard he started playing
Haxton's,
poker
or
again.
excuse me, Tollerene's
Yeah, when
nines.
the crypto market got a
still
little
good
worse, he
here.
started playing again, but I think he's back to mostly just trading right now. Because there's like, he only plays No Limit,
60.
and
Yeah.
there's just not that many good games in LA. It's like hard to find a good game. Most of
I
the-
think they're most private, right?
Exactly. So he has like one private game he plays sometimes, but it's like he doesn't always get a seed and stuff. So it's just like, I think it's kind of just on the back burner right now.
Where do you live?
I live in Hollywood.
Where?
Hollywood?
Hollywood?
Yeah. Like Los Angeles, basically. But it's like, it's a big area in Los Angeles, like near Hollywood, I guess. Yeah.
A bet
Did
the
you get
call here,
affected
king
with the
of
fires
hearts on the
that,
turn.
one
Yeah.
or two?
My house almost burned down.
Yeah.
It was 2 miles away. It was really, really close. I was here in January playing the tournaments, and I was like, couldn't even focus because I was too busy thinking about the whole
Yeah, it's
stuff. So
scary.
yeah, it's like, I got lucky. I got really lucky.
Good for you.
225.
Thanks.
About 225.
$225 from Haxton, and aggression will take this down. All right, still 4 players in the mix. And if you want to be one of those 4 at some point in the future, why not try Octopi Poker? It's the next generation study system for everyone, from casual players to elite pros like Steven Chidwick. It's fun to use, affordable, and full of features. Head to octopipoker.ai now and check it out. Excessive mustache growth, not guaranteed. But I do guarantee that you will be on track to become a better player.
10 seconds. Ready for 125?
$125 here from Yockey, double suited, king, queen, 9-8. Karakitukov, double suited, ace, queen, 10-8. This could be some fireworks here.
Raise pot.
405. 405.
Pot size re-raised to 405. Karakitukov at 765 behind, so Yockey can call this, see a flop, and just stick it in if it's favorable. That's at least what I think is the most common pathway here. 900K in the middle. Yockey looking for some equity here to apply pressure. We see 957 with clubs. Karakitukov with queen 8 of clubs. Also open-ended straight draw. Yockey with pair and a gut shot that doesn't apply. Does have backdoor diamonds.
900.
Scanning the outs always.
You're all in, right?
Yes.
Oh, and here we go. Yockey is going to make the call. 34% here. And he's going to be very sad to see specifically the presence of 10-8 and, of course, the clubs. It's about, Donnie, Yockey much rather be up against aces.
Yeah, I'm also thinking, you know, we saw Karakitukov before with a million outs.
Yes.
And it didn't come home. So, is he due, or is it going to be too many outs again? I mean,
All right, so the Bulgarian pro with his tournament life on the line right now, 2.4 million in the middle. If he wins this, he'll basically drop back to even with Yockey, who is now down to 6 outs. King, Jack, or a 9. Only 15% equity. This is a huge pot, and it'll really change the dynamics of this final table. River card is the king of spades, and Yockey finds it. Veselin Karakitukov with a bit of heartbreak here. He picked up a bunch of top hands, but it did not go his way, and now Yockey with 4.7 million
I
versus
guess this is what it feels like.
the 2 future Hall of Famers, Donnie.
I mean, he steamrolled. It couldn't have been more than 30 minutes ago. He had like 500K, 550 or something like
Yes.
that. He called that 3-bet, and you know he ended up winning the hand. But like, I mean, it's just crazy the spin up for Bryce Yockey here.
He even shaking his head a little bit.
Like you can't believe it, you know.
Pretty wild.
Get like 10. You get like 10 BV an hour ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Started with
I mean, you can see it here on the screen.
800K at 2040.
Tollerene and Haxton combined couldn't even match Yockey's stack. And if anything, Donnie, Yockey's a closer.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean,
Good
he's
coaching lesson from Jesse Lonis last night.
he's pretty aggressive when he gets a big stack. You know, I think we've seen that over the years when he gets these big chip leads.
Check.
And I would expect him to apply a bit of pressure here. He's got both these players in a really good spot, you know. Tollerene does have a little bit more chips than Haxton, but, you know, for all things considered, they're pretty close, pretty even here. So what that means for Yockey is I think he can look to really apply some pressure here, and if it works out in his favor, just kind of extend his chip lead further.
Tollerene limped. Yockey checked. Flop got checked, and now Yockey comes at 60,000. He's got this thing locked down after hitting a flush on the turn. Another heart on the river.
At 300. Hit the button.
The rich get richer as Yockey approaches 5 million. Donnie, what are the implications for the PGT PLO series standings?
So now that Veselin Karakitukov went out, only Bryce Yockey can overtake Sean Winter. Now, Bryce does need to win, but approaching 5 million in chips, very much in the driver's seat here, three-handed. He's looking pretty darn good to be able to do that. If he does go on to win, Yockey would move up to 487 points. Winter currently has 459, so, you know, somewhat of a narrow lead, but a lead nonetheless. Only one event left to go, the 25K finale, and that's when everything is going to be on the line. And then as it relates to Karakitukov, he did move up to 358 points, so he's also going to be well within striking distance with that 25K finale still left to play. So it's another one of those things where, yeah, you know, we might see some shifting here at the top of the leaderboard depending on where Yockey finishes, but doesn't matter what happens here, Yockey wins or Yockey doesn't win. There's going to be probably, let's say, 10 to 12 players, you know, give or take, in contention entering that final event. And, you know, from the entertainment side of things, sitting on this side of the screen, that's really all we can hope for as viewers, as fans.
Absolutely. Definitely. Entertainment is what we're here for.
You know, we saw it at Poker Masters. There was a bunch of people going into that final event that could win. And then at the final table, you know, Doug Lee needed to finish like top 3. David Coleman needed to finish top 3. You know, Coleman ended up finishing second, so he ultimately won the jacket. But you had that sweat right down to the end. And it's looking like that's how things are going to line up here at the PLO series.
Always love myself a good sweat. And these overall series wins are definitely something that can't be understated, especially when you battle for over a week straight against your peers.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I do believe the PGT is the closest thing that we have in poker to a sports league or
100%,
competition. You know,
100%.
it's closest to golf. You know, everyone talks about golf. They talk about the majors, the tournament wins. You know, you have the FedEx Cup standings, whatever. I mean, that's pretty much what Kerry Katz set out to do with his vision here. So, you know, if you follow golf and you're aware of that sort of stuff, very similar here on the PGT.
Just think about how many tournament results and how many millions of dollars in prize pools have been generated by the PGT since its inception. It's beefed up the offering for players of this level, and it's almost has made tournament playing a full-time job.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, a lot of these guys are in here, what, every week, every other week, you know, grinding out the tournaments. Of course, it's not just events here at the studio that count for the PGT. There are events elsewhere coming up. NAPT Las Vegas has 8 tournaments that count for the PGT. So, you know, these players are going to be down the street playing there. Coming up in December, I'm sure many of them are going to go down to the Bahamas, to Atlantis, Paradise Island. WSOP Paradise is going to have 6 PGT qualifying events. So, you know, there's a lot of different offerings on the PokerGo Tour, the majority of which, yes, do take place here at the PokerGo studio, but elsewhere as well. Can't forget about Texas, too. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Texas.
No,
we got the Texas PLO Roundup coming up.
I was going to say, finish up on Texas before I...
Yeah, the Texas PLO Roundup is coming at Champions Club, also in November, but after NAPT Las Vegas. That'll be another fun one down there with our friends. Have some streaming, too. That'll be going on with that.
Shout out Champions Club. No, what I was going to say, please do us a favor. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot.
Yeah, Remco and I get $5 for every like on the video. That's how it's worked out in our contract. So if you guys could just help us with that, that would be great.
If that was the case, Donnie, I would have retired after WSOP.
Oh, okay.
Yockey here makes a 125, Tollerene in the big blind. It's going to come along and make the call. Nine, six deuce. Both players paired their 9. Yockey with the better kicker, but we all know Pot-Limit Omaha is not a top pair game.
At 175.
175 from Yockey here, and not really, excuse me, Tollerene with 2 pair. I was just staring at the queen for some reason.
Yeah, Tollerene's got top 2. He's also got diamonds working for him. And then Yockey has that top pair. He could also connect with the queen and the jack, Ken Yockey.
65.
An understandable pot size re-race now. Tollerene, favorable equity here. And Yockey quickly gets out of the way. All right, a little glance here at the main room where the 25K is going on. Another reminder, and we went in depth on this already, but the Rags to Riches promo is about to come to an end. Go to trueclassictees.com/tcpogo to submit your story, your poker story, and you might be one of the 15 winners of a 5K package to play the Rags to Riches tournament here in Las Vegas. It's a $3,300 buy-in tournament. You get airfare and you get a hotel room if you are one of the lucky chosen ones, as we see Joni Jaukomainen in the back or in the middle of the room.
5 tables.
We got Nacho, we got Mercer, I see Chino, Jesse Lonis in the house, Alex Foxen, Chidwick. It's a stacked field in this 25K, and that final table is streaming tomorrow on PokerGo YouTube and on PokerGo.com.
Would imagine the 3 players that are still playing at our final table are going to hop into this event too. Probably get a few. I didn't see Kerry Katz out there. He likes to come late. Sam Soverall can come late. Nick Schulman's been coming late. So, you know, we'll get some more entries out there in that 25K. Of course, re-entries as well.
And these 3 boys.
Yeah, definitely. Nice looking hand here for Yockey. Jack 10-8-7 with a suit.
What?
180.
Raise from Yockey and a call. Couple of queens here. Really not much here for anyone. Maybe just going to be a bet from Yockey here, being the pre-flop aggressor, and he just wins this one right here. I can't imagine Haxton's going to continue. It is 100K from Bryce. There is the fold. Another one for our chip leader.
Seconds.
Oh,
180.
Pot here from Haxton, which is a 3 big blind raise. Whenever it's small to big, the ante, of course, doesn't count towards the size of the pot pre-flop. And this is a very strong holding for Haxton.
10 seconds.
You can scan it after.
Tollerene does make the call. No cards known yet. Deuce 4-3 is not what you're looking for when you're Haxton.
Yeah, but given how short he is, about a 2-to-1 stack to pot ratio here, maybe Haxton just says, you know what, my hand is good enough that I just got to go with it. At some point, you know, your stack is just going to dwindle so much that you just got to kind of find a hand to go with. And listen, if you go with this one, I can't blame him. We still don't know what Tollerene has, but he could certainly have some connectivity here, given that Haxton hasn't really connected all that well. I mean, I know he has the overpair, yes, but it's kind of wide open for Tollerene to have something there.
Now, if you're Haxton, you go into defense mode on a board like this immediately, right? Like you want no chips to go into the middle from your own perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I could see him, like I said, if he just says, you know what, I'm short enough that I'm going to go with it, that he just comes out and pots it and just tries to get the money in.
Right.
Or, you know, like you said, he kind of just goes into defense and tries to kind of navigate his way to a cheap showdown here. We get a check back from Tollerene. 7 on the turn. And, you know, this card, I know it's like, yeah, I mean, 5-6 was already there, right? So it doesn't really change anything straight draw-wise. But the fact that it's kind of just, again, so far from your hand, it probably makes Haxton feel less positive about his holding than Tollerene.
At least it doesn't add a flush draw to this board. So it does make the options for Tollerene a bit more limited as far as if aggression would develop versus Haxton right here. Now, if Tollerene were to bet here, Donnie, what hands are we assigning him given his pre-flop call? Is he able to have big pocket pairs? Would he, you know, check back a hand like 10s here? Or, you know, the connectivity with the smaller cards doesn't seem extremely likely?
Yeah, I mean, I would say he's probably in the range of like pair plus straight draw type of hands. I don't think he's probably super nutted, although, you know, maybe he did check back a hand like a 5-6 or an ace-5. Also with those hands, you know, I think it's probably fair that he could check them back. Not that you always want to be slow playing in Omaha, but if you figure Haxton's going to be so far away from a 4-3 deuce flop, then you can easily just check back an ace-5 or a 6-5, sorry. Check from Haxton, and you know, I know we don't know Tollerene's hand, but I think if he ends up betting here, he's probably got a straight. And if he checks back, he just doesn't have a straight. He's got, you know, some kind of 2-pair, maybe a 1-pair type of hand, and just wants to take the showdown.
The amount of history these guys have can't be understated. They came up sort of around the same time, and jacks are getting tabled here. Let's see if Tollerene has something to show. And it looks like he does make 2 pair, 7s and 3s.
Looks like Jack 10, 7, 3.
The good old Jack 10, 7, 3. Finding a sneaky 2 pair, and that's also what he bet on the turn. So it's telling the story.
All right, guys. 4-minute mark. We broke my hands. Actually, we'll also have a dealer change here since we got this check out here.
All right. Quick interruption to deliver you some more exciting news because the PGT is heading to Paradise. 6 qualifying events happening during WSOP Paradise, which runs December 4th through 18th at Atlantis, including the 25K Super Main event, which has a $60 million guarantee. You can check out the full schedule of qualifying events on pgt.com/schedule. And Donnie, I do want you to toss in the nugget that you enlightened us with yesterday with regards to the Super Main event.
What about it exactly?
I mean,
I forget what I talked about yesterday. The fact that it's got $60 million guaranteed.
well, the fact that the Rags to Riches is tied into that event.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. Sorry.
How do you forget that?
Because there's a lot of stuff going on, okay? Like, just a lot of stuff. But Remco has already talked at length about that True Classic Rags to Riches tournament. That tournament, December 2nd through 5th in Las Vegas. I do want to point out, with that tournament, it's not just open to people who win the story giveaway. You can come out here and you can play it. $3,300 buy-in and you can play it. The winner of that True Classic Rags to Riches tournament is getting a $30,000 package added. Not taken out of the prize pool. This doesn't come out of your guys' pocket. No, it gets added in partnership with the World Series of Poker. They are giving that $30K package to the $25K buy-in, $60 million guarantee Super Main event. And the reason why it's a $30K package is because you get round-trip airfare, you get hotel at Atlantis, so you get all of that sort of stuff if you come out. So essentially, you could submit a story, you could get picked, come out here for free, play the tournament, win the thing, go to Paradise, win that tournament for like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 million, however the heck much money is going to be up top in that one, and then you're just a made man or woman, but you know, you're made. You're in there.
You're basically saying that if you submit your story now, you'll be retired by the end of the year.
Yes, exactly.
Excellent.
And it's more beneficial to do it now with the tax laws that are coming next year. So, you know, you should definitely get in there this year.
Yockey makes a 180 into the aces of Tollerene, and he comes right back over the top to 540. Yockey took a stand here and now has an easy decision to make.
Yeah, this hand might be just too disconnected for Yockey to want to continue.
Well, from my basic PLO brain, it's a bad hand to call, and it's a good hand to 3-bet. For Yockey, you know, you can be aggressive with it, but it's not a hand that plays well out of position.
Yeah, and also, you know, the approach there from Tollerene, the limp re-raise, different approach than what we saw Haxton take on the last one, where if you raise there, especially with the stacks of Tollerene and Yockey, if Yockey just raises there, he can raise to 3x. If Tollerene raises there, Yockey's going to call very wide. He gets to play in position. These guys are relatively deep. So, you know, he can have a wide variety of hands. And then you're just kind of play aces out of position against an opponent who's very, very good. You guys are very, very deep. You really don't want to risk your stack given how short Haxton is. So Tollerene there taking the approach to just try and lower the SPR going into the flop as much as possible, which he comes with the limp raise. Because in a lot of ways, if he were to raise there from the small blind, it's kind of the same as just limping and having Yockey check back. It's kind of the same thing.
10 seconds.
King Jack 5-4. Yockey, of course, with that deep stack, has lots of room to take those little stabs. Haxton does not have that working in his favor.
180.
And he's going to race the pot.
The heaviest biggest cards again, I think.
Yep. 9-7-6-3 double suitors for Haxton. Looking for those middling cards to connect with. And it comes 9-4-6. Excellent flop here for Haxton, reminiscent of the Tollerene flop, where he flopped 9s and 6s. And we go all in, and we have a snap call. Bryce Yockey with a mediocre holding, but he's got 8 outs and a bunch of backdoor draws.
Yeah, I mean, this is another spot where in PLO, even though Yockey just right now has bottom pair of 4s, he still has 36% with 2 cards to come.
Right.
So he knows the math. He's just going to get it in against the shorter stacked Haxton. Hopefully he hits and takes his opponent out. And if you're Haxton, I mean, you just got to kind of hold on for dear life here with 2 pair.
The game of Pot-Limit Omaha is not easy on the stomach. The 8 of diamonds gives Yockey a few additional outs. Now 11 outs. Is the Yockey hot run going to continue? And is he going to find it again to send the player to the rail? Haxton a big favorite to double. The river is the 7 of clubs, and Yockey does it again. It's almost becoming comical here at the final table. Bryce Yockey cannot lose, and he was the second shortest stack when this final table begun. Didn't play a hand for the first, I would say, 9 or 10, and they didn't even realize that it was over.
Yockey didn't know he won. He was paying off the bet.
Oh my God! Pot-Limit
Haxton's
Omaha.
pushing his chips over. Yockey's like trying to pay him off.
Oh my God!
I mean, the thing was, Haxton had a 7.
Yes.
Everyone missed it. Pretty insane that that none of us saw it.
Wow. All right.
Yesterday too, where everybody.
Just like that, we're down to heads-up play. Haxton will add 130K to his ever-growing list of
PlayPoker Go
results.
is where you play free online poker, and now it's your shot at a dream seed in the PGT Championship. Download the free Play Poker Go app or visit playpokergo.com. Play one hand, and you're automatically entered for a chance to win a seed in the $1 Million free roll. Enter before December 10th. Must be 21 or older and a U.S. resident. No purchase necessary. A purchase will not improve your odds of winning. Go to pokergo.com/rules for giveaway rules and requirements. Play for fun. Play for free. Play for your dream seat. Only on Play Poker Go.
There you have it. Haxton out the door. Takes home 130K. Tollerene now the final player standing in the way of an epic run by Bryce Yockey, leading to what could be his 4th PGT PLO title. Yockey on 5.2 million, Tollerene on 2.9, which translates to 65 versus 36 big blinds. Pete in the chat says, this is why I just turn my cards over in Omaha and let the cards speak for themselves.
I mean, definitely. If you're newer to Omaha, you kind of just turn them over. You know, if you're playing live and just allow the dealer to help you, that's what they're there for. They'll read your hand for you. You know, I certainly would not be embarrassed. You see it here. You just saw it. Bryce Yockey did not know he won that hand.
Hilarious.
So it can happen to the best of them.
Quickly arriving on the river here. Tollerene with the check mark with the 9.
Checks down.
Pair of 9s.
It's 9s with 6.
9 is going to take it. Ben Tollerene heads up again inside the studio. He's had a strong showing at the most recent Triton Series, notching up 5 caches, 4 final tables prior to that. some WSOP results, including a third place finish in the 50K Super High Roller for just shy of $1 million. Tollerene just unstoppable whenever he shows up for a series. Exactly a year ago, he won the final event of the Poker Masters for $510K, and a month later, almost a year to this day, he won the final event of the PGT PLO Series for $500K. Followed that up by a 7th place finish in the 100K Super High Rollerball PLO. That event, in its third edition, Seth Davies last year the winner, besting a field of 42 entries. Jared Blesnik, the winner of the first edition, finished 4th that year. Other players to cash: Artem Maximov, Sean Winter, Josh Aryeh, and Sam Soverel. Be nice if we could grow that number to 50 for this year's edition on total entries. But either way, you can watch all 3 days live of the Super High Rollerball PLO starting on Monday. Ali Najad and Alex Livingston on the call for that one. Deuce, Queen, Jack, rainbow flop here. Limp pot. A few checks here. As I've mentioned many times, even though 40 big blinds is not the same as your average cash game stack, it leaves you with lots of room to play. Yockey picks it up with the smaller river bet. Tollerene limps in. Yockey happy to check with 10-7 3 deuce. Quick reminder that live reporting for the 25K is ongoing right now on PGT.com. That final table streamed tomorrow on the usual channels. 8-8-3 on the flop here. These boys are playing some small ball PLO, understandably so. If you're in the chat with us, please do us a favor. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Helps us a lot. And please, if you're a poker fan and you've stumbled upon our channel, make sure to check out some recent compilations we've made from some of our cash game shows, because they've been incredible. The return of Garrett Edelstein. How do billionaires play high stakes cash? Well, we've got a compilation on that. Shout out Stanley Tang. Shout out DoorDash. And we have some other fun compilations. One of Alan Keating and Peter, for those fans of a high stakes cash. The PokerGo YouTube channel has it all. And if you want to watch those full episodes, they are exclusively available on PokerGo.com. Or, of course, if you're a paying member to our YouTube community, the action in the recent seasons has been phenomenal. Big, huge pots, lots of great table talk. I feel like the lineups and the action manages to amaze me every single year, as we see Yockey betting 190 here, Tollerene with nut spades, ace king. He's got a whole lot going on. Same can't be said for our chip leader. And there's the spade on the turn that gives Tollerene the check mark. Action gets checked. Yockey can't be tempted to fire the turn. Tollerene with the nuts here, and he decides to check again. Just trying to see if Yockey wants to bluff this, or perhaps go for some perceived value, even though he's beaten. Gets checked, and Tollerene will be unhappy to see no additional chips went into the pot there. All right, still heads up here between two phenomenal players. Maybe you'll be heads up in the Eagle Cup after depositing some money on Global Poker. Use promo code PGT PLO 30 when depositing $30. You'll see the additional bonus prizes on your screen. Get into the Eagle Cup, start playing. The offer ends on October 31st. And Johnny, the Eagle Cup, sort of the perfect sideshow to watching these streams.
Yeah, and they got plenty of PLO action going on in the Eagle Cup, so check it out today, globalpoker.com. Global Poker does a great thing where if you win an online tournament, they always send you a badass-looking trophy. So get into that Eagle Cup, globalpoker.com. Start playing today. Have played on there a bit over the years myself. Always did enjoy Global Poker.
$400 in the middle here. Tollerene limped. Yockey checked. Tollerene bet 80K on the flop. Yockey called. Yockey now with the check mark. River brings another diamond. Doesn't come into play, obviously.
Yeah, but when another diamond like this appears on the board, you know, with the way that Omaha plays, you know, you have to use two in your hand. It kind of gives you a little bit more assurance or has some removal ability that now you know there's one less combination out there, or, you know, it's a little bit harder for your opponent to have 2 diamonds in his hand if there's 4 on the board. So I think Yockey's just going to come out with a value bet here. And then we'll see how sticky Mr. Tollerene wants to get.
Good to know as well for the fans, Donnie, that you can watch those No Gamble, No Future and High Stakes Poker episodes exclusively on PokerGo.com. But if you're an annual sub, there's also a little extra potential attached to that membership.
Yeah, I mean, you can win a 30K package.
I know.
To WSOP Paradise.
That alone is worth sort of the quote-unquote investment.
Yeah, I mean, we're giving away, that 30K package. 3 dream seats are available to play in the PGT $1 Million Championship for annual subscribers. So, I mean, that's pretty much 4 pulls at it, if you think about it.
It's honestly nuts.
Plus, I mean, just regularly all year round, you know, we're constantly doing different giveaways. You know, we recently, you know, heading into the summer, we gave away 3 seats to annual subscribers for the WSOP main event. 2 of the winners went very, very deep. I think it was Jesse Simon was the winner who ultimately went the deepest, finished right around 200th place. So he basically turned a PokerGo annual subscription into like 50 or 60K. I mean, and an experience of a lifetime.
I was going to say the experience alone is worth that that chance, I guess, that you're taking. And on top of that, you get a ton of content, all the archives, all the seasons of everything. Tollerene now here betting 140. He made a 240 pre after Yockey limped on his big blind. Yockey made the call.
10 seconds.
We got King 6-6, Tollerene flopping a king, and Yockey flopping a 6 with the best kicker.
Time extension.
Turn brings the Queen of Hearts. This is very... I want to say very uncomfortable for Tollerene here. You just have a king here. There are many ways to be beaten. You also don't have a draw that could improve your hand. So you're sort of stuck with this king-jack here. Hard to improve on. So clearly either playing defense or perhaps we are just done with the hand.
10 seconds.
Yeah, and to me this would feel like Yockey is going to be weighted more towards a 6 or nothing here in relation to Tollerene's hand. Because if he has a combo like a king-queen or an ace-queen, does Yockey, he's likely going to raise in position on the button as opposed to limp and then call the raise from Tollerene. So I think Tollerene is like, listen, if he has a king, it's going to be an inferior king to mine, right? So my king-jack is going to be good here. But he can certainly have a 6. You know, he can have some sort of like middling, run-down-ish type of hand that connects with the 6. So that would be the concern here.
And if we're Yockey here, we're going to just have to call this.
Yeah, definitely just got to flick it in.
King jack.
Yockey makes the call. Table's the 6. King Jack will hit the muck, and Yockey extends his lead now up to 5.6 million. If you're just joining us, Yockey was the second shortest stack when this final table begun. And I don't think he's lost an all-in.
I mean, I'm not sure he's lost a hand.
Yeah,
Period.
Fair enough. 10-8-7 deuce with hearts, and given the presence of the big blind ante, players incentivized to at least limp, given the potential getting dealt 4 cards. You have so many reasons to at least see a flop, especially when it's this cheap. We see queen 9-8, 2 spades, Tollerene with a wrap. Gut shot here for Yockey. Nine of diamonds on the turn. Status quo remains here. Yockey comes with 80,000. Tollerene with his draws comes along and makes the call. River pairs the board queens. And Tollerene's 8 is best here. If we're Yockey here, we have to continue firing. Obviously no way to win this at showdown. And given his turn bet, he can represent that 9. Probably would have heard from Tollerene if he had a queen in his hand, so seems to me like an automatic bet here from Yockey.
I mean, Tollerene, you know, he blocks the Jack-10 himself. He's got a pair. Says no thank you. Yockey continues to just win.
.240 now from Yockey with a nice hand, and Tollerene comes along. Suits matching up perfectly here as we see their cards on the screen. Their hand strengths, however, do not. Ace, King, Jack, Rainbow gives Yockey top 2. He's also got the better backdoor flush draw. Very comfortable spot here for him to continue. A bet and a fold, and Tollerene slides down below 2 million for the first time, sitting on 24 bigs as we're playing 40K, 80K. Tollerene still not out yet, but it's been a dominating performance from Bryce Yockey so far. We'd love to see you dominate inside the PokerGo studio December 2nd through the 5th. It's a $3,300 buy-in event, but you can win your way in there for free, giving away 15 5K packages together with True Classic. It's the Rags to Riches promo. Head on over to trueclassictees.com/TCPokerGo and submit your poker story for a chance to get picked. You only have 3 days remaining to submit. Winners will be announced thereafter. Donnie and I have no impact on who gets chosen, but we are rooting for all of you as we see the Event 9 trophy on the table, awaiting its captor. Shout out Luis Artiega for becoming a member of the Rail. And please don't forget to become an annual PokerGo subscriber while you're at it, because
Call.
one annual PokerGo sub will win
Sorry, I can't
a 30K package to play in the WSOP Super main event. 240 here from Tollerene. Yockey with the call. King 9-5. Tollerene hits a king. Inside straight draw here for Yockey. Tollerene's going to come with the bet. Comes with 140. Question from Joao in the chat. Yes, you do have to be a U.S. resident for that promo.
We don't make the rules. We just relay them.
We don't have anything to say other than what we say right here on the show. Yockey called for 140. Tollerene is to act again. 840 in the middle. This pot far more important for Tollerene than it is for Yockey. And Yockey did not improve or pick up another draw, so a bet here
What's in the pot?
can be successful. Yockey does fold, and Tollerene now back up to 2.5. Just a double up away from having a healthy chip lead. For those who have only turned on this stream recently. Tomorrow there's a 25K PLO final table, followed by 3 days of streaming of the 100K Super High Roller Bowl PLO. So you can watch all the 4-card your heart desires, including, of course, yesterday's. Yesterday was kind of a hilarious final table. It was the Mystery Bounty. I won't spoil it for those who still want to watch that back, but let's just say that the bounties came into play in a very funny way.
Oh, yes. That was a great show.
Ace 5-6 here. Yockey pairs his ace, takes the lead. Or I should say, maintains the lead.
10 seconds.
80K here from Yockey. Nothing to get ambitious about for Tollerene, despite some backdoor potential. Bryce Yockey on $7.3 million in career earnings. As Donnie mentioned before, winner of event number 6 here at the PGT PLO Series. Was a 10K PLO event. His most recent win prior to that event was also a 10K PLO event. Excuse me, 15K Mystery Bounty in April for 218K plus bounties. I believe he was the overall winner of that series. Is that correct?
No.
He had 5 final tables
I forget.
or 6.
But I'll tell you in 2 seconds.
I know. I could have looked this up myself, but
Jesse Lonis.
oh, Lonis. Okay. Of course, Jesse Lonis, the chosen one.
That's right.
Ace Queen 7, 2 diamonds on the next flop here, as these guys are playing lots of flops. Donnie, to me, it feels as though they're just looking for a place where both players have at least 30%, and then they're just going to run it.
Yeah, I mean, oftentimes you see these small ball matches ultimately just result in a clash of hands. Eventually they're just going to pick up enough equity, and it's going to go pot, 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 and money's going to go in, and they're just going to run it.
Pa, pa, pa. Final hand of the level before we go up to 50K, 100K. In the win, Yockey had an event 6. He beat Matthew Wantman heads up. Frederic Normand, our new crusher on the block from Canada, finished in 3rd place. Queen 998 for Yockey here. That's a nice hand that can become even more powerful
10 seconds.
given the flop texture. 240. Here comes a 240. Tollerene with the double suited ace queen. We might hear from him here.
I mean, this could be the one where
the
money ends up just getting in.
I was just mentioning it. They're just looking for some equity to go both ways, and this might be the one.
I mean, Yockey's for sure going to at least call.
10 seconds.
And there it is. Yockey makes the call, and there are a lot of flops on which this money goes in. Yockey just looking for a draw, more or less. It comes Jack 10-5, and Bryce Yockey flops a wrap. He's got backdoor clubs. Tollerene has got a double gut shot. There's a lot going on here.
Yeah, Tollerene's also got the backdoor hearts, too. So
All in.
here we go.
Oh, wow. That was very, very quick here. Tollerene 32% to double up as Bryce Yockey, who has not lost a big hand all day, just needs to fade an ace or a king.
Pretty
As-
good setup by you. Saying like, oh, they're just going to get
Yeah,
the money. And
30
then boom, they just get the money in.
Yeah, I just said at least 30%, and we're going to just run it. And here we are, 5 million chips in the middle. This could be the ender, or it could be the hand that swings it into Tollerene's favor with 2 cards to come. And a king hits on the turn, and now a straight flush draw for Bryce Yockey, but he's looking for a club and a club only to win this tournament. Otherwise, it'll be Tollerene with the chip lead. Massive river card to come. Tollerene 78% to survive right now after that king popped up. But it's the ace of clubs on the river, and Bryce Yockey cannot be stopped today. He did not lose a single pot of significance, and he closes it out on the first chance he's presented with here at the final table of event number 9 in this 15K PGT PLO event. Ben Tollerene collecting 190K, and
That was insane.
Let it out, sir.
Bryce
Let it all
Yockey
out.
perhaps a bit lightheaded there
What
from,
did I do? Win 6 or 7 all-ins in a row? That's pretty wild.
hey man, you say so yourself. Yockey indeed winning basically 7 all-ins in a row. First to double and then to mow down his opposition. He takes home 290K for his second tournament win in just 4
Thanks.
days.
That
Bryce
was-
Yockey, I'm just going to say here, one of the best PLO players of all time. But of course, it also helps when the deck and the dealer are in your favor. Here's a look at the final standings as we quickly reached a conclusion of this final table. Sean Rafael was the first to bust, followed by Wantman, Martirosyan, Karakitukov, and then Ben Tollerene. All right, a look inside the main room where the 25K is underway. I guess they are on a little break, but please know that this event will be streamed tomorrow. For Donnie Peters, my name is Remco Rinkema. Thanks for watching. The PGT PLO series concludes tomorrow. Don't miss it. It's a 25K buy-in. Big names, big payouts. Ciao.